Morning. It is still morning, so I can't say that now. Still not got access to data and stuff. And I thought I'd just make a video quickly. I don't know what I'm looking around. And just wasn't thinking about the videos I've seen recently of people talking about their medical green and how it's really annoying that we have to run off and run into the woods or run to fields and go to places to take our meds because general society doesn't like the smell and thinks it creates reprobates and degenerates. And literally the only people that make stoners that are you guys that don't smoke, that don't ingest it. It's just too ignorant to learn about it. The thing's been used for thousands of years, bruh. We've used it everywhere. It's sold better than most things. Alright, the powers that be knew how good it was, how important it was more than anything, how enriching it is, and how people do benefit from it. I think most people get stuck on the idea of smoking it as well, and because of the nicotine rush and things like that, people get really dizzy, and generally the first 5-10 minutes after ingesting is a bit loosey-goosey, but half an hour later, if half an hour later, your cognitive abilities are fine. For me, it's usually about 10-15 minutes after I'm fine, I'm back to normal, which is safer, in my opinion, than opioids, where you're laid out for hours on end. Alcohol, you can't do anything because that really does fuck with your cognitive abilities. But yeah, I find it really weird. And if it is the smell, then there's companies in countries where it's legal where they're removing the smell. It doesn't alter the plant, doesn't alter the effects, it just gets rid of the smell. So there's ways to ingest it without having to smell. But because of your ignoramus butt munchers, we're not allowed to invent and create that over here anyway. We're not allowed to enjoy the subtleties of this medicine because of the smell. I'm quite nihilistic in general, and I'm going to admit this now. I'm not a big fan of humans as we are, because I think we generally could be a lot better, and we choose to do the wrong thing based on stupid ideologies. This is one of them. This stupid ideology is stuck on this 100-year war with fucking cannabis because one doctor didn't like it. Some people back in 1910 didn't like it the way they felt when they'd had it once because they'd ingested it wrong. For them, they'd probably done too much. They probably whiteyed, but because he was political and because he ran in politics, he got it banned. And then yes, there was a load of stuff in the 60s and 70s and that where people were pushing it back, and it was being used for therapy reasons, and yes, it was wonderful, and yes, we should go back to using it full force. But a plant that can't kill you, can't cause any lasting damages, frees your mind, frees your energy, frees you of corruption, and all around makes you a better person, you're a criminal. Just like other ideas through dogma and ideology, other ideas seem to be evil, seem to be wrong, seem to be bad. I've never murdered anyone in the name of an imaginary friend. I've never even conceived the idea to murder someone because somebody else told me to do it, even when my psychosis got really bad. Never once had an urge to hurt people. It was always a danger to myself. When I was drinking, got verbally aggressive, verbally emotional. Depends on how bad my depression was. Sometimes physically aggressive, sometimes I'd break things. Never anyone else. It's not who I am. But yeah, this world seems a bit backwards when it comes to things that generally help people. And I'm going to push this forward. I'm going to create a space where people can talk about slightly controversial topics that I guess are becoming a bit nuanced, and more people are becoming informed. And one big challenge I've got coming up, other than moving home, is last time I was home and I was having my meds in the garden, which I'm perfectly able to and legally allowed to. Our neighbour went ape shit because of the smell, and because he just hung. I was out there anyway, out there for about 10 minutes, and then he come out and he put his washing up, and because the smell wafted over a couple of times, and I could hear him go ape shit in the house, like proper screaming and shouting in the house, saying how disgusting it was, blah, 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 and how the clothes are ruined and that. And I was like, bro, within 5 minutes, that smell's going to dissipate. You're not going to smell that lingering on your clothes, and if you are, I'll wash them. Lord Turtle will wash your clothes if it smells, but it won't, because it doesn't, because it's a myth. Tobacco stains your clothes. Tobacco stinks. Cannabis doesn't. Because of the way the tobacco is, because it latches on thick residue, you can kind of still smell the green. But inherently, it don't smell after a while. Yeah, fair play. Like, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but don't kick and scream. Because could you imagine if I was drunk, mind my own business out there, I would have immediately mouthed off. I would have started going, you fucking what, bro? I'd have kicked off. I wouldn't have been able to keep my mouth shut. I would have focused a lot of my resentment and frustrations at the world directly at him, and caused an argument and made things a lot worse. Cannabis, I stubbed out. I appreciated that not everyone is a fan. And I done the typical thing and I left. I walked off, I went for a huge walk, saw some of the most beautiful scenery, I think, in the UK. Some of the places at home I really don't think can be matched. Matched for beauty. It's like Scotland. There's some places around the Midlands that just are just ass. I mean, they are ass. Oh, what the fuck was that? But they're just beautiful, they're lovely, they're peaceful. It's generally the people that fuck it up. And generally, this is something that we need to talk about, because if it is just the smell that is stopping people voting this to legalise, you're dumb. And all these, I saw one comment on a post saying that where is it? There's a place that's trying to make it completely a Class A drug due to these houses getting destroyed. And there's only one way to stop people destroying these houses, whether it's a Class A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Q, R, S, T, U, V, all the way to fucking L, where it gets legalised. That's the only way to stop it. Let it grow in the wilderness, in places like this, and you won't have to destroy these 100 200-year-old, 200-year-old houses. You won't have people jumping into the electrical system, siphoning and wasting more money and more power and more energy. Just, it's £1 billion fucking industry, bruh. Probably more. Given its 20 odd thousand fucking THC variants and cannabinoids that are in there, we only use it for 1 or 2. Think about how many other uses. Think about how many other cures it's got in there. The fact we know that the base substrate of THC is enough to stop cancer growing and forming is one thing. But there's other cannabinoids in there that do other things that we don't know yet because we're not allowed to because of the smell. Well, I'd rather someone stink of a fucking plant that I don't like than dying of fucking liver and kidney cancer. I'd rather them not be drunk enough to think I can drive home and then fucking kill someone. I don't know anyone who's ever smoked a joint and gone, I can't drive, and then still fucking drove. I don't know anyone that's ever smoked a joint and gone, I think it's safe for me to go out and potentially murder someone. You know how often I hear that shit from drunk people? As a bar manager, as someone who ran pubs, do you know how many times I heard people go, it's fine, I've done it before? And yes, you do get people that do it on weed. But generally, their cognitive abilities are far more capable than drunk people are. And they go, give me half hour, let me see how I go. Drunk people are like, no, let me go, I can do it. Bun that, man. Why? Could you imagine changing the bars from alcohol to THC? Just change up beer, straight off. 1 pint is enough like a joint. Imagine that, having a pint and it's like smoking a joint. I'd pay a tenner for that, straight up. I'd pay £10 for a pint if it had THC in it and it made me feel like I had just been smoking a joint. Quite happily, if it was like a new product, it's like a start-up, no alcohol, same process, same everything, but it had THC in it, I'd put down my smelly sticks. I'd do that, hands down, and I can guarantee you'd get a lot more people involved than going back to the pubs. The industry would boom again. The alcohol business is dangerous and toxic and it should be banned, but replace it with THC. Could you imagine them replacing THC with psilocybin centres where you can go, and if you're really depressed like I was, where I thought about suicide, not just every day, but more or less every 20 minutes, every half an hour, just thinking new ways I could throw myself off a bridge or throw myself off my balcony, throw myself off downstairs, hang myself, cut my wrists open, try to overdose again. All those thoughts, all the time. And let's be fair, I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's still there, still think about it all the fucking time. But imagine if you go to a centre where you take one hit, one intense, strong, therapeutic hit of psilocybin. You're with a doctor to give you the right amount of sugar to help relax you, the right music for you, the right movies you want to do, watch, the right sounds, the right things for you. And you sit there and you can work out how and why your depression is such a huge hold on you, to a point where you can cry it out in a natural, safe environment. You can cry out those emotions. And not only then are you better for a little bit, but months on end, you don't have an anxiety attack, you don't have depression spells, you don't have things lingering in your head that just make you want to fucking bury yourself and become a mushroom again. We can do that, we can have that, 100% we can have that. We won't, because healthy plants, safe plants, are considered dangerous because they allow people to freely think. And I don't know about you guys, but I think that's stupid and preposterous. I think anyone who stands in the way of you being actually mentally happy and in a stable situation should be removed from making decisions from the general public. If there is no negative, if it cannot kill you, it can't be considered toxic. If it can't kill you, it can't be dangerous. Why do you think they're using these words? They don't destroy you physically or mentally, unless you're silly and go for the wrong things and don't learn and don't do your research. But generally, they're dangerous because they make people like me. They make people go, I'm not built for society. I'm not built for your society. I want a better one. And I'm going to fucking make one. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm making a society where we don't have to worry about these weird, insignificant ideologies that generally mean nothing and they're a huge distraction. You guys might need these little conforming constructions to help you integrate and to be a part of whatever you want to be a part of. For me, people are my connection, experiences are my connection. I want to be in a society where expression is free and progression is the reason. Progression is life. We do things for the betterment of people, not for the betterment of ourselves. Billionaires should want to walk around the streets just giving thousands away to people to help them fix their issues. Put them back into complacent, comfortable positions. That's what they used to do. Mansu Mansa, probably saying his name wrong, he used to do that. He used to go around the world, or Africa, and Asia, supposedly, and Europe. And he used to give out gold to the poorest of the poor to lift them up. Broke the economies, but made people happier. I'd rather be happy than have no money. And unfortunately, we live in a society where money is integral to happiness. I think it's fucked up, man. We can do better. We should do better. We should not only legalise, but prioritise. Prioritise the cannabis and psilocybin industry. Absolutely, 100% of the time. It'll boost the economy. Watch it happen. In a biz.